Hey everyone, Hassan here. Welcome to the world of Ha. Today, got a very special review for you. This is a brand new review from the Power Rangers movie. This is the T-Rex Battle Zord with Red Ranger. I found this at my local Toys R Us. I'm really excited about it. This is it. This is the first Zord that I have from the Power Rangers movie. So there's very interesting what they're doing with these Zords. So this is a pretty big Zord on its own, and this is going to combine with the other Zords to form the Megazords. This is going to be the biggest Megazord that they've released that, you know, transforms with some of the other Zords. So that's pretty interesting. Now, they're going to release other versions of the Megazord as well, but this is the version that combines, at least one of the versions. Maybe they'll release more later, who knows. But here it is, guys. This is the packaging that you see right here. So, open style packaging, T-Rex Battle Zord with Red Ranger. You got the movie Red Ranger right there. I'm not a huge fan of the packaging. I think it's a little basic and stuff, but, you know, they're keeping with the similar aesthetic. You have the Power Rangers kind of morpher in the background a little bit, like there's the power coin in the background. This is the little morpher piece that goes around it. So they're kind of sticking with that same style, as you can kind of see right here. So open style packaging, there's a little cannon with a try-me mode, missile blast. It says T-Rex Zord, it's time for battle. And then, on the side of the packaging here, it says, if I'll zoom in, collect and build the Colossal Megazord. So that, folks, right there is what at least the toy version of the Megazord is going to look like. So you have the 5 different Zords. So there's like the Saber-Tooth Tiger, Triceratops, Mastodon, the Pterodactyl in the back there, your T-Rex in the middle. So that all 5 will combine to form this massive Megazord. Now, this T-Rex Battle Zord also comes with this mini little Red Ranger figure. It is really tiny, but there it is right there. So we'll take a look at that. The side of the box just has the Power Rangers movie logo. Same thing on the other side. So let's turn this thing around. And, ooh, there we go. Okay, so let's see what the back of the box has in store for us. So it has battle sounds. It has Jason's voice, so that'll be interesting to hear. We get to hear Jason's voice from the movie. Then, dual missile firing action with the cannon right there. And it's got a little Ranger cockpit right in the mouth of the T-Rex. So there is the Zord in all its glory, and we'll take a look at it, obviously, with the actual toy. Now, the other thing I want to point out again, as I was saying, collect and build the Colossal Megazord. So there, right there, we have, if I can kind of zoom in a little bit more, the Tyrannosaurus with the Red Ranger. They're going to release the other Zords separately. Here's the, oops, sorry, I'm trying to focus. The Pterodactyl with a Pink Ranger and the Putty. Look at that, folks. That's our first look at the Putty. So that's pretty interesting. In addition to that, we have the Saber-Tooth Tiger with the Yellow Ranger right there. We have the Triceratops, the Blue Ranger. Not sure what all the extra legs are about, but very interesting design choice that they have for the Zords. There's the Mastodon, again, with multiple legs, and the Black Ranger. And it shows you how it will all combine to form the Megazord. So they have not released, as of the recording of this review, all of the other Zords. I just have the T-Rex. But obviously, when I get the other Zords, I will then show you the combination as well, so that will be really exciting. So here's the T-Rex Battle Zord at least, so that's that. So without further ado, let's get this thing open and take a look. Alright, so I got the T-Rex Battle Zord out of the packaging, and here it is. So the first thing that I want to take a look at is the mini little Red Ranger that you get with this little set. So this is pretty cool. You don't usually get any little Rangers with the Zords. I feel like as a kid, now I'm sure many of you already know the answer to this, but as a kid, didn't we get mini little Ranger figures with the Megazords? Like with the original like Dragon Zord and stuff too. I didn't have the original Megazords as a kid. I started getting Megazords in the like Zeo Turbo time frame. So I missed out on some of that with the original stuff, but I thought we did. And I know they also used to make little play sets and stuff too, with mini little Rangers and everything. But this is pretty cool, and you can even see like some of the little design elements even on the back and everywhere. Still kind of keeping that little alien aesthetic, which is really interesting. Now, it even has a little bit of articulation with the arms rotating all the way around, and the legs can also independently, you know, move forward and back and that sort of thing. So that's pretty cool. For comparison's sake, you know, you have this, and then you have your New York Comic-Con exclusive Legacy movie Red Ranger figure. Obviously, huge size difference there. You can clearly see that. But fits the same aesthetic, and this actually blends in very nicely with the T-Rex Zord. So whether you like the design of the Zord or not, we're going to talk about that. I like the consistency across everything. That is certainly nice. So this kind of alien aesthetic that they have going really translates to the Zord, and even this mini little figure has some elements of it as well. So before I really get too much into it, I just want to show you the fact that you can open up the T-Rex mouth, and you can just, you know, fold the legs as if he's going to sit down, and just pop it right in like so. So if we kind of zoom in here, you'll see the Red Ranger kind of chilling in the Zord cockpit right there. And you can close the mouth, and he's, you know, at the ready. There he is right there. So that's pretty neat. So I'm going to take this guy out, but I just wanted to kind of show that part at least so we can get that out the way with this review. So pretty cool. I like the mini little figure. So now let's talk about the Zord itself. So we have the Zord right here. And overall, the design is very interesting. I know there's a lot of opinions out there about the design of the Zord. I'm not going to focus too much on that. I'm going to focus more on the toy itself. I do want to say I'm fine with the design overall. You know, it does look like a T-Rex, and it looks alien looking, which I think fits the movie well, especially the concept that they're going with for the movie, really emphasizing the fact that it is very alien. Now, obviously, when you compare it with the regular Mighty Morphin T-Rex Zord, you're going to notice it's quite different. You know, definitely. This is more like a robotic-looking T-Rex versus this is more of like an alien-looking T-Rex. So definitely, aesthetically, very different. In fact, the only differences or the only similarities are really the fact that it's a T-Rex. So you're going to have some similarities there. So, yes, I recognize that fact, definitely. So, like it or hate it, this is the design that we have. So I want to focus on the toy, right? So the toy itself is pretty huge. I mean, as you can see, it's a pretty big size toy. So I want to show you some of the details up close on this thing. So it's got, you know, a decent amount of detail on the little feet right here of the T-Rex. You can really see kind of this alien-esque looking design there. Little bits of like silver and stuff back there, a little bits of blue, but mostly red. You have these orange missiles, which we'll talk about. So this aesthetic really carries across, going all the way down the whole tail of the Tyrannosaurus. There you have it. You have the blue right up front here. It doesn't really have any eyes, so that's kind of odd. Not that I can see, at least. So I do think that looks a little odd. I already showed you how the mouth can open up and everything. So you have that. The other side is, you know, basically the same. There you have the bottom. We'll take a look at the little helmet and stuff down there, hiding down there. But yeah, very interesting. In terms of articulation, so these pieces do move, and they do come off, actually. We'll take a look at that. The feet can, rotate, and they can bend right here, too. Even all the way backwards, because it's actually the arm of the Megazord. So you can really kind of, if you want it posed like that, like he's kind of almost leaping in action or roaring really loudly, like, "Rawr," I don't know, you can do that. Or you can have him posing down more, however you want to do it. Now, when he's down like this, he does balance a little bit with the feet forward. You just have to do it right. Like right now, he seems to be leaning. There you go. So he's balancing forward like that. But otherwise, he does have a tendency to lean backwards a little bit because of the big tail and kind of the back-heavy weight that it has a little bit. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, overall, very interesting design. Very, nothing too super snazzy, it's pretty basic toy overall, and it's different. This is a very different type of Zord toy than we normally have for Zords. And a couple of things. First of all, the size, as I mentioned. When we combine all the Zords together eventually, when the rest of the Zords release, this thing is going to be massive. It's going to be really big. But also, this is not ZordBuilder compatible. That's pretty big for this toy line because we've had ZordBuilder compatibility since 2010 for all the Megazords, including the Legacy toys. So all the Megazords since 2010 have been ZordBuilder compatible. This is not. As you can see, the ports here are not ZordBuilder ports. So that is a bit of a disappointment. Now, granted, because of the size of this thing, it makes sense because this really wouldn't fit in well. I mean, obviously, you take this T-Rex and you take this T-Rex, and you imagine trying to combine these types of things. It's not going to fit, right? It's a different market. So that is certainly an interesting design choice. Now, let's get to the actual features, right? So you have these missiles. So there's one on each side, these orange missiles. And basically what you can do to fire them is you just kind of push your finger on the back here and just push the missile out. And it kind of fires like that, basically. And then to put it back, you just kind of click it into place. And then again, same thing. Would have been nice to have like an actual little button, but it's not too big of a deal. It works, you know, it is what it is. So there's that. Then you actually, on this cannon here, there's a little button right here. And it plays 3 different sounds. It cycles through those sounds, basically. So let's push the button.
T-Rex Zord, it's time for battle.
It says T-Rex Zord, it's time for battle. And then so it fires, and then
1, 2, 3.
One, two, three, and then, you know, it fires and stuff. So, is that Dacker Montgomery's voice, Jason the Red Ranger from the movie? Because that's not exactly what I would have pictured him to sound like. It claims on the back of the box that it's Jason's voice, but is this really Jason's voice?
T-Rex Zord, it's time for battle.
And then the missile firing and stuff. It sounds a little odd to me. It doesn't sound like his voice, but then again, we've only really seen the trailer, so we don't really know.
1, 2, 3.
So, I don't know. It's interesting. You know, it's nice to have these kinds of sounds and stuff too. By the way, this cannon can rotate, and it does come off, so you can really decide, you know, if you don't want the cannon on your T-Rex Zord, you just want it posed like that, you can certainly do that. So you have flexibility there. So those are really the main features. So you have your missile firing action, you have the sounds, the mini little Red Ranger that fits in the mouth right there, the Zord cockpit, and that's it. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. That is the main features of this Battle Zord on its own. Now, we're going to get into what happens when you combine this thing with the other Zords, right? You create the massive Megazord. Well, I don't have the other Zords, so I can't do that yet. But I can give you a little taste and talk about what that's potentially going to look like. So I'm going to show you the instructions briefly, okay? So these are the instructions for the T-Rex Battle Zord with Red Ranger. And what it shows is if you have the T-Rex Zord, the Mastodon, Triceratops, Saber-tooth Tiger, and Pterodactyl, you can form the Megazord. And it gives you the instructions for all the Zords combining to form the Megazord right there. So I have the full instructions on how everything combines with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to at least transform what I can with the T-Rex, just to show you and give you an idea of what to expect. Whoops. So let's take that off. Okay, the tail you can actually just slide upwards and it slides out. So this piece right here just kind of just slides on and off. So it comes off just like that. Okay, then you're actually going to pop off the legs. And the one thing that's a little disappointing is some of these joints, like some of these are pretty hard to come off. Like you really have to pull at them and push at them. And so I'm afraid that like for kids, this could be kind of challenging. And it actually is a bit of a pain to transform this thing a little bit. So that's a little worrisome to me. There we go. I have my camera in front of me, so I don't want to do too much force and then hit the camera. Then you're going to take these pieces, and these are actually going to come off. Actually, I can take out the missiles, too, so let's take those out. Okay, so that comes off. This comes into that little hole right there, so that's how it comes out. Okay, then I'm gonna plop off the head. And last but not least, hiding underneath the little T-Rex there is the helmet, so we're gonna pull that out as well. There was a peg in there. So now we have all these different pieces here, right? So how does it all fit together? Well, if we take a look at this main body piece here, let's look at the front. Ooh, doesn't that look like the main chest piece? Yes, it does. So this is the main chest piece here. And what you'll notice is we have a helmet now. So this is the helmet that's hidden inside the T-Rex. So there you go. So this thing pops on right at the top there. Pretty interesting looking, right? Okay, so next up, we're gonna take the T-Rex head and we're gonna flip this around, and this is just gonna stick in the back like so. Just kind of get it out the way, basically. All right, now we have the 2 feet of the T-Rex. And what you're actually gonna do is you're gonna flip it around and pull the leg forward so it's straight. And now you have an arm, and there's the hand right there. Same thing here. Now it's straight, and there you go. Now you can also bend this forward if you want, like he's, you know, like putting the, like bending at the elbow and everything. So you can certainly do that. In fact, I'm actually gonna do that now so I can kind of just combine it just like that. And then these pegs go into the holes right on the sides, so let me try and do this so the camera's not in the way. This is a little tough. That's the challenge here. There we go. I think, no, never mind. Hold on, let me do this off camera so I can really, there we go. This is the challenge here, and it's kind of frustrating to transform this thing because you really have to put so much force into it. There we go. All right, so that kind of pops in right there. Now, then again, this is brand new, so after a couple times, it probably will be easier. So we have that. Now, a couple things I want to point out. These pieces, looking at the instructions, are going to attach onto the pterodactyl and kind of add on some things to the wings. So we don't have that yet. I'm not sure if the missile is really going to be used later for anything. I think it might actually, because this is a peg that you can probably hold it just like that. So you can certainly, in fact, I think the instructions do indeed, I think, show that, or you can even have it on the side like so. So you can have the cannon on the side there like that. And one of the pieces of the instructions actually shows this kind of almost being a sword or something that it can wield, and it can just hold it in the arm like so. Just like that, okay? So there you have, if I just kind of do that, you have at least something there. So this is a little long, so it's hard to put in view, so I'll take that away. But basically, this is the upper part of the Megazord. We have the saber-tooth tiger going here, the Triceratops and Mastodon forming the legs, and the pterodactyl in the back, which is different, as you guys know, from the original Megazord. The pterodactyl usually forms the chest. You have the saber-tooth tiger and Triceratops' legs, but in this case, it appears to be the Mastodon and Triceratops as the legs, and the saber-tooth tiger is instead the body there underneath the chest piece. So, very interesting. That's the toy, at least. I don't know if in the movie things will be different, but you can already see this is that, and if I bring in the T-Rex here, you can already tell the size difference, right? This is just the T-Rex Zord from the Legacy Megazord. This is the T-Rex Zord from the movie transformed like so. And you can already kind of see how big this thing is going to be. So that's very interesting. I do like some of the shiny blue and everything there too. That's pretty cool looking. Whether you like the design of the Megazord or not, you know, that's a whole different topic. I'm just gonna quickly say that I do like the design of the Megazord. I'm a little disappointed that it's so different. Like it feels so different than the original Megazord, but I like this design also, and so I'm pretty open about that, and I think this looks pretty cool, so there's that. Now, for the toy, right, let's focus on the toy, because that's what we're here for. Pros and cons. You know, the issue that I have is the difficulty to transform some of this thing, and then it feels more geared towards a younger audience. just there's something about it. The whole thing just feels cheaper versus you take your deluxe Ninja Steel Megazord. This looks more complex, right? This is your normal kind of a Megazord, and this looks more detailed, more complex. This looks more simple. Now, granted, the reason being they're going for something bigger, a bigger scale, right? They want a big Megazord. That, I think, is cool, and I am excited to get the rest of the Megazord to see just how big this thing is. That I'm excited about. So, good and bad to it, right? So, playability-wise, you know, the T-Rex Zord has a couple features, as I mentioned, the missiles, the sounds, and you can put the little mini ranger in the Zord cockpit, that sort of thing. But overall, you know, I do appreciate this, the size of the Megazord. And, you know, you get these mini little Ranger figures, too, that you can have some fun with. You can try if it'll, you know, stand or not. But you can, you know, have them pose on top of the Megazord there, like standing on top of the hand or something if it'll stay. But basically, you know, you get the scale of it all. Like, that's pretty cool. I dig that, you know. So anyways, that is the T-Rex Battle Zord. Enough of that. As we get the later Zords, I will show you those, and then eventually we'll do a combination to form the full Megazord, which I'm excited about. So let me know in the comment section below what you think of the T-Rex Battle Zord with Red Ranger. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please share this video as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. So this is the T-Rex Zord, right? And we've seen one version of this Megazord, or at least part of it. This one combines. There will be other versions of the Megazord released. They've already announced an interactive Megazord, which is just one piece of the Megazord. Doesn't have as much paint, so it's a lot more gray looking, but it's one Megazord, doesn't transform, but if you just wanted the Megazord itself, you can certainly get that, and it has other lights and sounds and other cool features. I actually saw it at my local Toys R Us. I took it to the register, but then the computer said it wasn't going to be available until December 1st, and I'm recording this video a couple days before December 1st, so unfortunately I couldn't get it yet, but I will definitely go get that as soon as possible and do a review of that as well, so then you can compare and contrast the different versions of the Megazord that they're going to release. I don't know if they're going to release like a ZordBuilder normal size Megazord or not, but as of now we have this version that combines, and then the Megazord that's all on its own. So this is the T-Rex Battle Zord. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.